Hello, welcome to the first video of the channel, in which we will show you the best information and facts about health and how to put all this information into practice in your day-to-day in the easiest and simplest way. Today we will be talking about water and how it works in our organism. On average, our body is made up of 60% water. Water, it is present inside our cells, in the space between our cells, in our blood and in other body fluids such as saliva, sweat and tears. What are the functions of water in our body? The elementary liquid plays a number of main functions that ensure the proper functioning of our body. Proper functioning of our body. Its most important functions are as follows. It transports and distributes essential nutrients for our cells such as minerals, vitamins or glucose. It eliminates toxins produced by our organs. It regulates our body temperature. It collaborates in our digestive process. It also acts as a lubricant of our joints. The liquid element performs main functions that ensure the correct proper functioning of our body. Water is so important for our body that a normal person at a normal temperature and with a relatively sedentary lifestyle can last only 3 to 5 days without drinking. 3 to 5 days without drinking. And we say only because the same person's body could go for up to a month without food. How does our body lose water? Our body loses water constantly when we breathe, when we sweat, when we urinate and when we EVA. Through these actions, the body loses an average of between 2 and 2.5 liters of water per day. Although we do not lose only water, we also lose sodium, potassium, calcium, fluoride, and other electrolytes. The body can compensate for the daily loss of fluids by transferring internal water from our cells to our blood. However, if we do not replace the water that we lose throughout the day, we can become dehydrated. Mild dehydration is quite common, as it is caused by an exingestion of liquids. In case of suffering from a gastrointestinal disease that causes diarrhea and vomiting, fever or burns, dehydration can be burns. Dehydration is aggravated, so it is very important to replace the lost fluids so that our health does not suffer considerably. Now, what is dehydration? Dehydration occurs when our water balance is negative, that is, we lose more water than we take in. More water than we take in. There are 3 different types of dehydration. ISO dehydration, which occurs when we lose without the same amount of water as electrolytes. It should be noted that electrolytes are substances that are broken down into electrically charged particles when dissolved in water or body fluids. Water or in body fluids. Some examples of ions are sodium, potassium, calcium, chloride, and phosphate. Another type of dehydration is hyperhydration. This occurs when the amount of water we lose is greater than that of the T already mentioned. The third type of dehydration is the hypo, which occurs when our body loses more water than the amount of water we lose. Which occurs when our body loses more electrolytes than water. Our body is complex as well as wise. That is why, when it detects a drop in the amount of water in our body, it triggers our thirst, triggers our sensation of thirst. It pushes us to drink in order to drink to maintain the water balance. What are the consequences of dehydration have on our body? When we are dehydrated, the level of water in our blood decreases, making it difficult for our body to drink. Water level in our blood decreases, making it more difficult to circulate, which circulation and as a consequence our organs and muscles receive a lower level of the nutrients and oxygen they need to function properly. The more water our body loses, the more serious the consequences for our health. Mild dehydration will make us thirsty, headaches, weakness, dizziness, fatigue, and can also cause drowsiness. If the dehydration we suffer from is moderate, we will have a dry mouth, our pulse will be slower. Our mouth will be dry, our pulse will increase. Our skin will lack elasticity. We will feel heavy and we will have little with no urine volume. In case of severe dehydration, we must go to a health center since we will be in front of a medical emergency that could be lethal. Emergency that could be lethal, it is characterized by an extreme sensation of thirst, a low respiratory of thirst, an accelerated respiratory rate, a lack of urine volume, and the volume of urine, and the cold and wet. Muscle spasms, vomiting, altered mental state. Mental status. What can I do to recover? Drinks provide us with 75 to 80% of the water our body needs. The other 20 to 25% comes from the food we eat. So to stay hydrated, we only need to stay hydrated, we only have to drink liquids such as water, infusions, juices, dairy products, etc., and eat mainly broths, soups, etc. Soups, broths, fruits and vegetables. That their water content is higher than in other foods. Water intake may be insufficient because, as we have insufficient since, as we have said before, in addition to water we lose electrolytes. A person who practices sports is recommended to drink some type of isotonic drink. To drink some type of ISO drink to replace the salts lost through sweat. Water is also not enough if you have a gastrointestinal disease. Gastrointestinal disease. Many people tend to consume ISO drinks to cope with the loss of mineral salts, but this is not the most appropriate beverage, as they are designed to replenish the salts we lose through sweat. The ideal in the case of gastrointestinal disease is to resort to special preparations based on glucose and mineral salts that you can find in your pharmacy. How much liquid should I drink to stay hydrated? It depends, since the amount varies according to the person, age, diet, level of activity and environmental activity level and environmental conditions, among other factors. It is therefore not easy to determine the exact amount of water a person should drink. Children are at risk of dehydration for several reasons. The first is that their immune system is developing and are more likely to suffer from dehydration. For example, diarrhea or gas, with its corresponding loss of fluids. The heat and dryness of the environment affect them more, and no less important is that at this age the sensation of thirst is not yet fully developed. Thirst is not yet 100% developed. A small amount at a time, but throughout the day, will help them to stay well hydrated and avoid problems. In addition to this, it is also true that at an early age, there is a tendency to consume all kinds of sweeteners and candies. Sweeteners and sweets often cause the already mentioned problems such as diarrhea and other aforementioned problems. That is why it is in our hand to help and educate our closest children to be aware of moderation and to take into account moderation and the attitude if the elderly are also at risk of dehydration. Risks of moderate or prolonged dehydration. They are often unaware of how important it is to refresh and drink fluids of more or less frequently during the day. Either because they also have a lower perception, either because they suffer from some type of disease that affects their water levels. It is also recommended to drink a small amount, but practically all day long. But during practically the whole day is also recommended. An adult woman or man between 20 and 70 years of age should generally consume 2 liters of water, respectively, daily. If they exercise or play sports, they should drink the amount proportional to the loss of body weight. The amount proportional to the loss of water loss that such activity causes. If you run or whatever happens, the ideal is to ingest a couple of glasses of water, 0.5 liters. A couple of glasses of water, 0.5 liters, half an hour before starting the activity. And lastly, it should be noted that pregnant or breastfeeding women also have a much higher risk of dehydration, as the needs of the baby and the nutritional needs of the baby and the mother's nutritional requirements change and are amplified. The water accounts for 94% of the baby's total weight. It also recommends adding 300 milliliters to the total recommended in women of 2 liters. Remember that hydration is essential in our present and we must take care of it in order to experience life at its best. Life in the best way. Now I am going to leave you some tips so you can take note and remember. Point to the best way to hydrate is to drinking water, of course. Is the best way to hydrate for any other liquid or solid food you may consume. Discrepancies may arise as to what is the ideal amount of water you should drink each day. Ideal amount of water you should drink each day. But generally speaking, the best advice we can give for staying hydrated is to drink fluids gradually throughout the day. For example, you should get into the habit of drinking a glass of water upon waking, before going to bedtime and with every meal. And you should also consume water before, during, and after exercise. That was the first tip. You are to write down the second one, don't miss it. Eat more fruits and vegetables rich in water. In the case of vegetables, salads with cucumber, lettuce, Italian squash or zucchini, celery and tomato are of great help to stay hydrated. If we talk about fruits, we recommend watermelon, fruits such as strawberries, grapefruit, peaches and melon. In the case of watermelon, it is almost as if you were consuming a drink because it contains 92% liquid. There was the second tip, but even more, the next one you're going to like, and I'm sure many of you will have a very everyday memory come to mind. To consume cold soups, variety is the spice of life. It is not necessary that in summer you take your soup boiling, leave that for the coldest days of winter. For example, look for recipes to make gazpacho, a very popular and typical cold soup in Spain. The main ingredients are tomatoes, bell peppers, cucumbers, garlic and onions, in other words, water and vegetables. How much better, besides water, are there other liquids that help you stay hydrated? Yes, in addition to providing a good dose of liquid to keep you hydrated, milk contains calcium, vitamin D, and proteins. In other words, it is also a good nutritional supplement. If you are vegan or lactose intolerant, you can opt for vegetable drinks. They have a similar consistency to cow's milk, provide vitamins and protein and are lactose-free. Among the best known are soy, coconut, almond and oat milks. Fruit infusion makes it boring to drink water with a touch of flavor and with only one fruit in the water. It is a very healthy formula because it brings flavor without added sugar. The process is simple. With sliced fruit in a large jar, add water over the fruit. Let stand in the refrigerator about 2 to 3 hours. Better if you leave it overnight for a more flavorful infusion. For example, add lemon and basil or cucumber with mint. It will certainly result in a very refreshing drink. Fruit juice. Fruit juice contains about 85% water. You just need to make sure you choose a 100% fruit juice and ideally prepare your juices at home. In addition, the vitamins in natural fruits are also very healthy. If you opt to buy, rather than make your juice at home, you should check if they have added sugars as they inhibit hydration. So it is good to read the ingredient label. Sports drinks in addition to water provide electrolytes that help you get more effective hydration. In simple words, you will be recovering the salts that your body loses through sweating. When the hot season begins, it is very important that you pay attention to these signs of hydration. Dry, irritated, inflamed, itchy or sensitive skin, headache, dizziness, fatigue or fainting, muscle cramps, rapid breathing, not urinating or having very dark yellow urine. When experiencing any of these symptoms, you should immediately get out of the heat zone and drink plenty of fluids. If dehydration is severe, you should go to a health center to be seen by a doctor. Check your urine. One indicator of hydration is the color of your urine. Pale urine indicates adequate hydration, while darker color is a sign that you need more water. Avoid alcohol, sugary drinks, and caffeine. As you already know, some liquids work against your hydration. For example, coffee, sugary soft drinks, beer, wine, and hard liquor, energy drinks and shakes. In general, avoid drinks loaded with sugar, sodium, and other ingredients that remove water from the tissues. You have reached the end of this video. Thank you and congratulations for wanting to know how to take care of yourself in the best way. I send a message of motivation to make the best habits and decisions for the body. As you can see, there are several recommendations that can help you stay hydrated and avoid dehydration. Did you know the tips we have given you here? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for being here.